Hey all, I know it's been a while since we've had a video, but I wanted to touch base. We're almost 4 months in to the new year, and I wanted to share with you, because a lot of times you don't see everything that's going on, that God is doing some amazing things, and yet there's so much more that we can do. If you recall, we started the year with this challenge to go one step further. We were encouraging every single person in our church to try something a little more, go a little deeper. Try something new in your walk with God. Build your relationships a little bit broader. Get to know somebody you didn't get to know before. We had this desire for each person to stretch, to try something that God is leading them into. Because when we take some risks, when we cooperate with the Holy Spirit, it's amazing what God will do in and through us. And so we've been encouraging people to get to know some non-Christ followers and build relationships you've never had before, to serve and to pray. And I want to let you know that, in fact, God is faithful and He is showing up. There are so many things happening, and I just want to give you a brief rundown on some of them. As you know, one of the big parts of our trying our outpost was starting this ESL program. We don't know where that's going to lead. But in 4 weeks, not only have we had a bunch of people be trained, but this last week we had over 30 students. That's crazy amount in 4 weeks. In fact, we're probably going to have to cap interest before we end in June. That means there's a desperate need for more people to sit in the classrooms, even if you're not to train, to just be with them and to be a participant. If that's something you're interested in, do it. It's fantastic to see the excitement and see the connections and see people listen to and get introduced to the gospel. Not only that, we just recently finished a whole successful year with Youth for Truth. That's, again, an amazing thing. We saw students come to know Jesus. We saw them build connections with teachers. We saw relationships be built. An amazing thing. Youth just came back from District Youth Retreat. Over 20 people went. We saw teens get connected to God, to have experiences where their life was renewed. This Sunday, we have a baptism Sunday. Right now we have 6 people being baptized. There might be more people who have decided that since they are following Jesus, they want other people to know about it. There's been so many more things, ongoing ministries with youth, with the church, with other people in the community, with other churches. We have attendance, honestly, is up. And while we don't focus on numbers a whole lot, the fact is that we're seeing new people. We're seeing more engagement with people in our church. From an administrative point, we're putting together a new directory, which I think will help people get connected. And so God is doing things. He's reaching people. There are people whose lives are changing. Be praising, be thanking God for those things. But the job is not done. And so as we look forward to the year ahead, we're coming to that time where things are going to ease up a little bit. A lot of life groups are beginning to wind down and pause for the summer. There's a couple activities in the summer. There's VBS that is being spearheaded by someone in our church in July. In August, we have a missions trip, an Envision missions trip to Chicago. And then later in August, we're doing Stuff the Bus again to help our local teachers. So there's 3 things in the summer that I would encourage you to participate in one of those 3, if not more. We'd love to see you do that. God is doing some interesting things through that. In the near future, we have our 40 hours of prayer coming up here in May. We believe that since prayer is the primary thing we do, that all this stuff that God is doing is in response to His people praying. And so we want to pray more frequently, and pray more desperately for the Holy Spirit to show up. God is at work. Be encouraged. Things are happening, and every single person has a role to play. And so my encouragement to you as you celebrate God's faithfulness, as you think of all that has happened, that you keep leaning into this idea of one step further. What is one thing God might be inviting you to do? Maybe it's in how you serve. Maybe it's in what you're doing with Him. Maybe it's in your relationships with people inside and outside the church. What is one thing that God is inviting you to do that's been on your mind and on your heart that you can respond to and say yes? When we do, guys, the second 2/3 of this year will be even better than the first. Till next time.